Hello and welcome to Access Asia. I'm Delano D'Souza. Coming up, India flexes its soft power muscle as a gigantic Maha Kumbh Mela festival kicks off. An estimated 400 million people expected to attend the Hindu festival over the next 6 weeks. The United Nations calls on authorities in Pakistan not to deport Afghan refugees living in the country, warning they will endanger the lives of the vulnerable even further. And a gender divide on full display among the youth in South Korea, with women increasingly moving to the left and men to the right, a shift intensified by the ongoing political chaos. But first, the largest gathering on earth is underway in India. 400 million people expected to attend the Maha Kumbh Mela festival, which runs until the 26th of next month. Over the next few weeks, Hindu pilgrims will be gathering at the confluence of 3 sacred rivers. Now, bathing takes place every day, but some dates are viewed as auspicious. Authorities are leaving nothing to chance. The government is spending $812 million to organize and secure the event, with the state government in Uttar Pradesh set to earn $2.9 billion from hosting the Maha Kumbh Mela. Now, in 2017, the Kumbh Mela was inscribed by UNESCO on its intangible cultural heritage list. And to talk more about the pilgrimage underway, we can bring in Ambassador Vishal Sharma, India's permanent representative to UNESCO. Mr. Ambassador, thank you so much for joining us on the program today. What is the significance of the Maha Kumbh Mela?
Well, as you have rightly said, the Kumbh is the largest gathering of humanity on this planet. And the estimates have been revised from 400 million to 450 million. That's more than the entire population of the United States of America, Singapore, and Denmark taken together. The Maha Kumbh occurs once in every 12 years. Kumbh is the path of wisdom. Some come to the Kumbh for the love of the holy river Ganges. They are the devotees. Some come to wash their karma away. They are the karmis. Some are curious. They are the inquisitive. But some come seeking wisdom. They are the seekers.
Is that what makes certain days auspicious, that the stars simply do align?
Well, as per the ancient Vedic beliefs, there are certain auspicious days. For example, the Makar Sankranti, that when the sun enters the Capricorn constellation, it's considered holy, it's considered special in Indian culture. Similarly, you have Mahashivratri, the great night of Shiva, which is considered holy. So Indians would always look up at the stars. And their culture is very aligned to these astrological significances. In fact, if you multiply the 144 years, because this Mahakumbh is occurring especially after 144 years, when certain planets are aligning in the Pushya constellation. And if you multiply 144 by 14, and you go back in time, you will come to a very special period, which I will not mention from my mouth. But if you do these mathematical computations, you will arrive that there are indeed some periods which are considered special from a very cultural significance.
Let's talk about the Indian state, because India is spending some over $800 million to organize this festival, secure the festival, given the interest coming from outside of India. I mean, I've seen tourists attending from Israel, Argentina, Spain, what have you. Is it fair to say that the Kumbh Mela is being used as a soft power tool?
Well, there are people coming from Guatemala, Brazil, Argentina, France, Japan, even the Middle East. It is something that is attracting people. You know, it's the pull of India's ancient culture. The timeless message of India is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, wherein we consider the world to be one family. And you see in the Kumbh, there are women who are ascetics. Women are walking step by step alongside men and taking the lead. There is gender equality in the Kumbh. It's a great message. If you see India's neighborhood, where is there freedom for women, freedom of expression? Everything is available in the Kumbh. And this is what is attracting people, along with the modern facilities that the state government of Uttar Pradesh has provided. The infrastructure, they have employed 15,000 sanitation workers to keep the area clean. The area has 40,000 security personnel.
But I wanted to talk about security next, because how do you go about securing this event that's expected, as you said, to draw 450 million people? These are not small numbers.
These are huge numbers. And in fact, even the local residents of Prayagraj, where this Mahakumbh is occurring, they are saying, we have seen such a transformation. These infrastructural facilities which have come up in India, they are utilizing facial recognition softwares. Right? There are layers and layers of different security agencies. 40,000 policemen and paramilitary personnel are on the job during this Maha Kumbh to secure all the pilgrims who are coming.
Let's talk about the Ganges, because there have been efforts made in the past. A lot of money has been poured into effort to clean up the Ganges. Yet E. coli levels still remain incredibly high. Have those efforts to clean up the Ganges been abandoned?
Well, there have been 457 projects taken by the Namami Gange project. $5 billion, around 40,000 crore rupees, has been spent on it. There have been so many STP, sewage treatment plants put up. Let me tell you that the water of the Ganges is more cleaner than the waters of some of the rivers in Europe. I will not name them for diplomatic reasons, but the waters of the Ganges have become so clean that what the situation was many, many years before has changed dramatically. And the government of India has undertaken revolutionary steps, primarily by utilizing technology in water cleaning. There are 1,500 Ganga cleaning workers working round the clock to keep the area clean. There have also they have installed security barricades so that people do not drown in the Ganges. The Ganges has a huge volume of water. It's a river, but in a way, it is so broad. It's almost like a mini sea. So to keep such a large volume of water, to secure the people who are going into that water, I think the government has taken exceptionally good steps, and the results we are seeing. For more on this, you can check on the Namami Gange program.
But of course, still more work needs to be done, Mr. Ambassador. We're going to have to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us on the program today.
Thank you.
To Pakistan next, where a campaign is underway to crack down on Afghan migrants, both documented and undocumented. An estimated 3 to 4 million Afghans are living in the country, and tensions have escalated in recent weeks. Authorities have been stepping up ID checks, and the UN High Commission for Refugees is warning Pakistan that forced deportations will only endanger the lives of vulnerable Afghans even further.
In Islamabad, fear has gripped Afghan refugee communities after a wave of police raids. These images captured by witnesses show officers rounding up undocumented Afghans. Hundreds have been arrested and deported in recent weeks. Fatma lives in constant fear. The Afghan feminist found refuge in Pakistan 2 months ago. She and her husband have valid visas, but their children don't.
They arrested my husband and took him with them. They came back in the evening and they wanted to take me and my children and deport us. But fortunately, I was hiding at a friend's house. They took one of my neighbors and deported them the next morning. They would have done the same to me and my children if I was home.
She claims her husband was released after several hours of detention and had to pay a bribe equal to 2 months minimum wage. The Taliban imprisoned Fatma for campaigning for women's rights. She says her captors beat her while she was pregnant and she lost the child. One of her activist friends also managed to flee Afghanistan recently.
The police do not give any guarantee that we are safe now.
After taking your money, they did not give you any documents?
No, nothing.
Meena is only 21 years old. She was threatened because of her activism and fled Afghanistan with her younger brother.
When I see that here girls are going to university, I'm telling myself, what about Afghan girls who cannot? And when I see girls going to school here, I ask myself, what about my sisters back home who are banned from attending school? This difference is very hurtful.
Afghan women have been forgotten, and the world is silent about the cruelty they're facing.
Pakistani authorities accuse Afghan nationals of causing security problems and taking part in political protests that took place last November. The UNHCR warns that deportations are sometimes indiscriminate.
We are requesting the government of Pakistan not to deport people in need of international protection. I think that the challenge at the moment with regard to this measure that is taking place in the capital territory has been a bit the lack of clarity about who is going to be affected by this.
Dozens of Afghan refugees registered with the UNHCR or with pending asylum applications in foreign embassies have been forcibly expelled in the past 2 weeks.
Now, nations on every continent are experiencing a political gender gap among young voters. Women are growing more progressive and men more conservative. This ideological divide is particularly stark in South Korea, where political crisis is highlighting the effects. Charlie James reports.
In South Korea's patriarchal society, women have traditionally been expected to stay out of politics. But women, particularly young women, have been driving protests against conservative President Yoon Suk-yeol and his declaration of martial law. It's shown a spotlight on the country's polarized politics and the ideological gender gap among Gen Z Koreans.
I think women are more sensitive to social disasters and discrimination because they are socially vulnerable. So, as a woman, I've had many conversations with my friends about wage gaps and gender discrimination. But men in their 20s and 30s, even though they're in the same generation, have always disagreed with gender discrimination.
In the 2022 presidential election, 59% of men aged 18 to 29 voted for Yoon. Only 34% of women under 30 voted for him. Yoon has been accused of capitalizing on young men's fears, denying institutional discrimination against women, and promising to abolish the Ministry of Gender Equality. This rally in support of the suspended president is full of young men who feel the Democratic Party doesn't look out for their needs.
The Democratic Party is currently pushing for a comprehensive anti-discrimination law and other bills that are closely related to feminist ideology. So this seems to be the main factor in the current divisions between men and women, especially those in their 20s.
Yoon's supporters use political slogans such as "Make Korea Great Again" and "Stop the Steal," adopted from the rhetoric of U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, whose support from young men helped him retake the White House.
That's it for this edition of Access Asia. From all of us on the team, thank you very much for watching.